So, choosing crystals. Now, you'll get a good idea from the working kits that you need a good range of colours, basically. Range of colours is the best thing to go for. You'll always tend to naturally be drawn to some colours, and some colours of stones are more common than others. So when you're getting together a working kit, it's really a balance between your own personal lusts and desires and absolutely have to get that crystal, plus I haven't got any of that stone, so I need that colour, so I need to get some of those, even though I'm not initially drawn to them. You'll find that these, it's difficult to say because we're so lucky down in the southwest for access to crystal shops. In some areas of the country, they don't even know what a bloody rock shop is, or they've got, or there are like a couple of dusty bits or something in the back of somebody's mind, body, spirit shop. But nowadays, at least, you have quite good internet shops. So if you go to somebody who's kosher and reliable, like Spiritual Planet, then you're okay. The only thing is you can't pick up and jiggle them, but basically it's not only what's available, which does vary, it's also variability of price. So you've just got to look around and see who's got what and how much they're charging for it, because you'll always get places that are good for some things but really bad for others as far as price goes, because they've got different suppliers. And many of the small mind-body shops, whether they're bookshops or not, tend to get from the same suppliers. So you always tend to get the same spelling mistakes, the same stones. So you do need to look for independence sometimes to get less, either better quality or less familiar sorts of stones. Don't always blame the crystal shops if they have spelled something wrong or if they've mislabeled something, because it is difficult sometimes for people who don't know the area very well to just go by what they're told, or to misinterpret or misspell something. And shop sellers just sell stuff and don't necessarily know a great deal about it. So that's where your own skill comes in, is that if you know that something isn't something, or that is something else, then that's just the way it goes. You just know more than other people sometimes. But it's not an easy field to get to know, because even though you think, oh, I know this stone and what it looks like, some idiot will go and dig up something which is exactly mineralogically the same, but it's got a completely different colour and completely different shape. And like is it 2,000 new minerals each year are identified? Some ridiculous amount like that. Because that's what mineralogists do. You know, they like hitting something to microscopic size, slapping it under electron microscopes and various spectrographic things, and saying, "Oh look, it's this," or "Oh look, it's that," "Oh look, it's got 3% of this stuff, so therefore it's a new mineral." And new things are coming out all the time. But as far as the crystal therapist goes and mind-body market goes, that's not really all that relevant, because most of those minerals are not in a form that can be used by a crystal therapist or by anybody, because they're just like little animal-shaped things with spikes that are very small or very rare or so delicate they'll never be used. We're looking for a good selection of tumble stones, and basically if you can get flattish tumble stones rather than rolly tumble stones, then that's helpful. The size of the stones isn't important in terms of how effective it's going to be, but it is important in terms of whether it's going to stay on the body, whether it's going to crush a vital organ, things like that. So smallish sizes, not so small that you lose it on the carpet, but small enough that A small and flat is great. It's nice having bigger stones for holding or for giving to people to hold, because tumble stones aren't really they're too small really to feel. It's a seaside stone type size. That sort of size is really nice to hold, something that you actually feel the weight of. And those are good stones for personal work or meditation work, or for having clients to hold the stone to shut them up if they're rabbiting too much or whatever like that. So it's nice to have a few things like that. But for your working kit, you've got to consider weight. You think, oh. But if you get a few boxes like this and you've got to cart them around, then the weight is definitely an issue. Storage is also an issue as well. I mean, these sorts of plastic boxes which are available in do-it-yourself stores and fishing stores, but particularly fishing places, because the fishing places tend to have boxes that have got adjustable divisions inside, are really useful. And they're useful for having out that when you're working you can see what you've got. If you've got to keep on unwrapping something or ferking at the bottom of a big box of stuff that you know you've got a ruby somewhere but you can't find it, it sort of slows down the flow of the process. So have a good range of colours of medium to small size stones. The things that you'll need most to look out for, because they're less easy to find, are smallish smoky quartz points. That's the natural crystal point, which we've no doubt got somewhere.
I think they're on their way.
All right. But smoky quartz, but smaller. It used to be that you could get nice quartz points for £1 or £2, but it varies a lot now, and now the prices are going up anyway. But smoky quartz are always more pricey than clear quartz. But if you can find nice bits of natural smoky quartz, then try at least for 2. But if you can get 4 or 5 or 6, that's great. Same with clear quartz points. If you get ones that are sort of an inch and a half, as many as you can get really. I mean, it's quite good to have a dozen or so. The thing is, don't think, oh, I've got to get them all at once. You just accumulate them over time. I was lucky that when I was building up my collection, it was mainly in the late 80s when you could get quite nice Arkansas, really brilliant Arkansas or Brazilian quartz, lovely little crystals, and they wouldn't cost so much. It's just a matter of sorting through stuff and finding ones you like, really. What you got there, Chuck?
Ones you brought interest to look at.
All right. Okay, yeah. Amethyst points are pretty difficult to get hold of as well, really. Small amethyst points. Basically, they usually take a hammer to a geode, and that's how you get amethyst points. But they tend to be sold as geodes rather than individual little crystals. You tend to get large amethyst points or crystals. The amethyst tends to be more stubby than the other quartzes, since they have a smaller point, a bit less of a prism. But again, 2 or 3, up to 8. 8 would be good as an ideal, but for looking. So natural crystals of any form really, not just the quartzes, are fine to use in healing. Great, because they just give a variety, and also pointed crystals tend to give a more directional flow. You've got tumbled stones that tend to create a smooth, roundish aura. They haven't got any sort of directional oomph. Points, natural points, and pointed crystals tend to have a directional flow, so they have a different function. Some stones you will not get in crystal form, I mean natural crystal form, because they don't make crystal forms very easily, like turquoise, things like that. It very rarely forms big crystals. rhodonite, rhodolite, things like that, they do form crystals, but rarely, and it's expensive, things like azurite. So, you know, you go for what you like and you go for what you can afford. And you think about, is this practical for laying on and around a body? Is this practical for washing, for cleansing? Is this worth the money? How much is it going to cost if I go here to here to here? The thing with crystals is that everyone's unique and individual. So if you get hooked by one, then that's you. But you know, you've got the intellectual thing is you can get another type, another version, another version of that stone somewhere else if you need to, if it's too expensive or whatever. Never be well, you can if you like, but be aware that there's a personal desire thing that comes into it that is energetic as well as just lusty after something. So sometimes you do need to fork out on something that is special because there is some special energy there. But don't be blagged into buying something that you can't afford just because somebody says it's this or that. It's just a lump of rock, and you'll find the equivalent of that somewhere else, maybe, or your life will end. You know, if you go back and it's still there, then you can buy it. But this is the thing with crystals. If you're not already into the sort of like addictive crystal buying phase, at some point you will be, but at some point you will come out of that.
It might take a while.
But the main thing is to shop around and to get a wide variety of stones. Worked stones, cut stones and carved stones we'll talk about a bit later, but apart from large polished or tumbled stones for holding, you know, as a sort of holding stone, the only other thing that you'll definitely need is a crystal pendulum of some kind and a massage wand or two of some kind. And the best, most general would be clear quartz or smoking quartz or amethyst. Any questions about choosing stone? Doesn't matter really, from our point of view, it doesn't matter what the mineral is or are. Initially the main thing is to get a range of colours. And if you've got one or two similar colours, you know, you need more than one red stone, you need more than one blue stone, you need a good selection. And if you can have different minerals of blues and different minerals of each colour, then that gives the choice of working. You're more likely, you can tune your work more finely to the person. So the more finely you can tune your work to what needs to be done, the quicker the work's done and the easier it's done. And we just want to get in there, do the work, get out. We don't want to faff around with things if we can avoid it.